head high. Don't you let them see you cry. That's what my mama told me.
I'm here with Alison Lee, who has been a staunch supporter of the Inspirational Women of Portsmouth project from the very start. Thank you, Alison, for your support. Welcome. You came to the very first award event.
I did, yes. And loved it.
And you're still coming.
Yeah,
so thank you 4 years later. Thank you so much for your support as a sponsor and also as a friend. You are the director of Biscoes Solicitors.
Yeah, so I'm the managing director. We have, think about this now, currently 8 directors, soon to be 9 directors who run the business across the 7 offices that we have.
Yeah, and you have quite a brilliant ratio in terms of
we have quite an unusual ratio as law firm management teams go. So we are currently 8 directors, 3 of whom are men, 5 of whom are women, and we will be 9 directors come April, and then we will still be 3 men, and we will be 6 women.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
fantastic.
So, yeah, a little bit unusual.
Yeah. And how long have you had that role for?
So I have to say, I've been with the firm 30 years in September this year.
You?
From when I started my training contract to when I was
So when September. You were 5 then?
I wish. And I took the managing director role in 2015. So that'll be 7 years this year.
Fantastic. Muzzle tov, lady. What would you say, so it's a law firm, what would you say like the values that embed Biscoes?
Okay, so our sort of outward mission statement is great service every client, every time. We want, we're quite a traditional firm, so we're based in 7 different locations, whereas lots of firms have kind of amalgamated into one big building. We're still...
So geographically?
Still in different localities, not very far out of Portsmouth, so Petersfield, Waterlooville, Wickham, Porchester, and on the island we're in Newport and in Ryde.
Oh, right.
And our main office is in Portsmouth, so just at the bottom of the M275. So we like that kind of being in local areas. However, we're quite innovative and quite go ahead in the way that we provide the services. So we're open to telephone calls 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night and at weekends. We have web chat on our website so that people can get in touch with us. I'd like to think we're quite accessible, so that good service to clients, being accessible to clients, making clients feel valued, I think is really important. Internally, I think we've made a massive investment in our people because they're our biggest and strongest asset. So we do lots of things to support our staff. So quite unusually, again, for a law firm or even a business of our size, we have an unlimited leave policy.
So do you need any dancers?
And people, that's about treating people like adults and saying, you come to us when you need your holiday, you work out how you're going to fits with the job that you're doing, the role that you're doing, and the people that you work with. We give healthcare benefits to all of our staff. They have an extra kind of little perk box type thing. Might be ERP card, in fact it is. It's not a local business which we've been able to support, but gives our staff some benefits and money for shopping and that sort of thing. And we try to, kind of wrap them in love and kindness. Because they're very, they are the most valuable thing in our business. So internally, our value is about looking after our people.
Yeah, I remember you telling me this lovely story of being in a meeting and having a baby in one corner. So
I've literally posted about this on LinkedIn last week. And there's been a big thing about women in law, particularly, or professional services generally. Having children, that being a real dampener on the progress of their careers. And one particular lady posted, she basically lost her job when she was pregnant. She'd been forced out of her business, so she'd gone and started her own business, which has been massively successful. So they lost somebody in that business who they should never have lost. So we have a director who's just currently on her 3rd lot of maternity leave. And I posted about the fact that her 2nd son, when he was born, used to come to our directors' meetings.
Yeah.
And she'd walk around the table with him, and we'd be having the meeting, and she'd be walking around, and I'd just have to say to her, Steph, can you just reverse? Because you're now making me dizzy. And then she would put Watson down on the floor and put a baby gym over him, and he'd gurgle away on the floor whilst we were having our meeting, and it was perfectly fine, and we were all good with that. You know, she contributes, you know, massively to our board, and why would we not want her there?
Yeah,
you know, if you can be there.
So that's something you do internally in terms of kind of empowering and supporting women.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you do in the community that's about kind of empowering or supporting women?
I like to think I do.
Yeah, no.
So I do Girls Network mentoring.
Brilliant.
I've done that for, I think I'm on my 4th mentee this year. And that's about, you know...
This year?
No,
right.
This year it's the 4th time I've done it. I'm the 4th mentee.
Exhausting.
So you work with those mentees throughout the academic year, basically, on a monthly basis. Yeah. And it's really where the schools have identified that there might be a young girl who maybe doesn't have the role models within her family network to maybe just think about her potential and her aspirations. So it's not suggesting to girls that they will become lawyers or they should do something different to what they might otherwise have done, but it's about just opening their minds a little bit to possibilities and opportunities that might not be being discussed with them at home. And you know, I like to think that the girls that I've mentored have benefited from that and seen somebody who's I know my background is not, I'm not from a privileged background. My dad was in the Navy, my mum was an office worker, none of my family had been to university. I got a strange idea in my head when I was about 8 that I wanted to be a lawyer. I had no concept then of what it took to be a lawyer. So
It's probably the best way.
Absolutely, yeah, I've known what I know now. Yeah. So I kind of did that because it was a passion of mine of what I wanted to do, because I was quite a determined person. But for lots of people, and particularly now, when you're thinking about girls who have got nobody in their family who's ever been to university, for example, that whole, you know, what does it cost? How do I do it? You know, what do I need to be able to do it? What path do I take? What exams do I need to look at? They might not get that kind of support at home. So that mentoring hopefully has inspired some young women. I'm a trustee at Pompey in the Community, so work with a wonderful Claire Martin, who's the CEO there, and promoting girls in sport and being active and just working around that body image stuff that a lot of teenage girls move into. That then doesn't involve perhaps exercise, it involves them perhaps not eating properly and those sorts of things. So the charity works on those. I don't personally get involved in it, but obviously from my point of view of being a trustee, that helps. I post quite a lot about just, you know, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. Particularly, and this is why I love your awards. I'm from Portsmouth, and you know, I'm exactly the same conversation as I think your hold your drink moment. You've mentioned to me a couple of times that you say you're from Portsmouth, you get that kind of Portsmouth. And I think actually I know so many amazing women from Portsmouth who do amazing things. They run amazing businesses and they have great family lives. They, you know, you kind of think, well, actually, I want to celebrate that and I want to be able to celebrate that. So I do a lot of that on LinkedIn. Supporting the awards is one way I do that. Girls Network is another way I do it. But any opportunity to big up the women in my business and say that this woman's amazing.
And you've got this lovely networking thing that I came to once as well.
So we do a women's networking lunch every so often. Obviously we didn't through the pandemic.
The food was so nice. I remember that.
Because I think there's a real power in women getting together and actually supporting each other and building each other up, because I think there can be a tendency among women to be a bit disparaging about each other, and I think that's a really sad thing, because actually we should be building each other up, because we're all living, you know, with our own issues and demons and challenges and trials, and actually somebody saying to you, you did a great job today, makes all the difference sometimes.
And that's totally how I measure my friendships. Like when I first meet someone, and if I come across their energy being invested in elevating themselves at the cost of somebody else.
No. I think it's also kind of in terms of leadership as well. I hope, I genuinely hope that my leadership style is not one where I tell people what to do. I ask them what they think they can do and how they think they can do things differently. And we promote, again, internally good practice. And I was asked for a quote and I said, you never look down on anyone unless it's to offer them a hand to help them up. And I genuinely believe that. I don't think anybody should ever look down on someone and think, well, you're not going to be able to achieve anything, because we can all achieve something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of where I come from.
Love that. And so within that, would you say there's any specific challenges you've noticed in terms of women getting ahead and progressing in the city, in whatever context?
I think given the kind of financial benchmarking that we have in the city, there's lots of very deprived areas in the city still. You know, I work also within Shaping Portsmouth. That's something that we're really looking to try and help with. But you know, that there are a lot of girls growing up, women in households where the opportunity to study is very limited by financial resources. I find that's obviously quite sad. But again, it's about getting the information about apprenticeships and ways that you can learn and progress and meet those aspirations in a different way, rather than thinking, well, I can't go to university, so I can't be a lawyer, for example. There are now legal apprenticeships, so you can. It's about getting that message out there. So I think the challenges sometimes are financial, sometimes they're kind of in our head. I think there's probably a lot of girls and women out there who, again, haven't had the role models or the mentors or the family experiences around them to think that they can achieve. And for me, I know from my own journey, it was about believing I could do it.
And just to finish, I'm just curious, because I feel very strongly about this topic. What in the last week have you done to be kind to yourself?
You kind of warned me, you might ask me. What have I done to be kind to myself? I keep a gratitude diary, which was given to me by a very good friend, which I find immensely helpful. So I do it every morning and every evening. Just a couple of minutes just to say what I'm grateful for. So that little bit of time to just reflect on the day and my day ahead, I think is a little bit of me time. That and having an early night yesterday.
What advice would you give your teenage self?
I think I just said it, and it's don't give up. Don't be put off by people saying to you, you can't, because you can usually find a way around it. It might not be immediate. It might be that you'll find another. And I think the opportunities, particularly now in education. So if you're talking about younger self, you know, I might have now gone about wanting to be a lawyer in a completely different way and done a legal apprenticeship rather than going to university, as it was at the time. That was the way. It was a long time ago. You know, that was the way I needed to do it, but you know, I might have done it in a slightly different route. So my PA, who I absolutely adore, who's 35, turned 35 at the weekend.
I don't think she'll thank you for sharing that.
She doesn't look to be what she looks about 24. She always wanted to be a lawyer. She wasn't able. She was ill when she did her A-levels, so didn't get the grades to go to university. She ended up as a legal secretary. I spoke to her quite recently, a couple of years ago, and said, why have you never done this? Because you're really, really talented. And she's just never had the opportunity. I said, all right, let's do it then. So she's now part way through her legal exec course. You know, so it's about not giving up on what you actually aspire to do and looking for those opportunities to progress in the way that you wanted to progress.
It's wonderful that you're empowering her.
I'm going to lose her as a PA.
I was going to say it's wonderful.
Really stupid idea. Really stupid.
There's a part, I don't know if I'd have that depth of character. I'd be like...
She's actually posting about her journey. Her name's Tasha Bibby, so she's posting about her journey from her early career to now, what she's doing now on LinkedIn. So she's going to keep updating that now. So,
that's lovely.
She's
and
going
inspirational
to be a great
for people. So if somebody wanted to kind of find out a little bit more about Biscoes, where would they go?
Right, so our website, so that's biscoes-law.co.uk.
Okay, great.
And we have, we're across all the social media platforms, so we have a LinkedIn profile. I have a LinkedIn profile, obviously, to post stuff about the firm on that. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, we're all over the place. This week we're posting lots of stuff about apprenticeship week, so we have a number of apprentices within the firm, so they're talking about their journey and what they do in the day and what they've learned from their experiences as an apprentice. So lots of stuff goes out about the firm and how we operate.
Platforms. Well, I'm very grateful for your time because you're a very busy lady and you're on your way to another meeting. So thank you for slotting us in.
No problem.
For that. Thank you for your time.